Hi, this is Jack from Maths Forge, and in today's lesson we're going to be simplifying ratios. So let's take a look at our first example. Write the ratio of the squares to triangles to circles. So it's very important here to get everything in order. So they're asking for squares first, triangles next, and finally circles. A ratio is a way to write quantities in their groups, and this is how it's done. Since they're asking us for squares first, I'm going to write down the number of squares, which is 2 in this case. And then I'm going to put a colon. And then they've asked us for triangles next. So there's one triangle here. So I'm going to write down the number 1 and another colon. And finally, they've asked us for circles. There are 2 circles here. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down next. And if we check our answer, there it is. We'll do another 1-star example. Here they're asking us to write the ratio of squares to circles. So they've asked us to write squares first. The number of squares is 4. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down first. And then colon, and then they've asked us to write down circles next. Well, there are 3 circles here, so I'm going to go ahead and write that down next. And if we check our answer, there it is. Now let's do a 2-star example. Here they're asking us to simplify the ratio of 3 to 9. So the way you simplify ratios is very similar to the way you simplify fractions. You have to think of a number that you can divide both sides of this ratio by in order to simplify it. In this case, I can see that the highest common factor in both of these numbers is 3. So if I go ahead and divide both sides by 3, I end up with a simplified ratio of 1 to 3. And if we check our answer, there it is. We'll do another 2-star example. This time they're asking us to simplify 32 to 56 to 128. And I can see straight away that I can divide 2 into all of these values. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to divide each part of this ratio by 2. This now simplifies to give us 16 to 28 to 64. And this is still not fully simplified. I can still divide all of these numbers here by another number. I can divide it by 2, but I've seen that 4 can also divide into all of these numbers. You want to try and break up your ratios by dividing with the highest possible number. And in this case, I'm going to go for 4. So we're going to divide 4 onto each part of this ratio. This leaves us with 4, 7, 16. And now at this stage, even though you can divide 4 into 4 and into 16, because you can't divide 4 into 7, you can't simplify this any further. So this is our ratio simplified fully. And if we check our answer, there it is. We'll do a 3-star example now. Here we're being given 2 ratios, 1 to 5 to 1, and it's equal to another ratio, 10 to a missing number that we don't know, a question mark, and another 10. So to find out what this missing number is, this question mark, you have to ask yourself, how do we get from 1 to 10 through multiplication? And of course, that's by multiplying with 10. To go from 1 to 10, we multiply by 10. And it's the same for this one here. To go from 1 to 10, we multiply by 10. So the multiplication connecting these ratios is a times 10. And of course, if the central value here on the left is 5, then the central value here on the right for this ratio, that's 10 times bigger, is just going to be 5 multiplied by 10. So 5 multiplied by 10 gives us this number here, this question mark, to be 50. And if we check our answer, there it is. We'll do another 3-star example. Here we have the ratio 3 to 4, which is equal to another ratio with a question mark to 24. So we can see here for the left-hand ratio, the right side number, which is 4. How do we get from 4 to 24? Well, we can multiply by 6. And of course, this multiplication by 6 is the same thing we do to this 3 to get to this question mark. So 3 multiplied by 6 will give us a value of 18. So I think the question mark number here is equal to 18. And if we check our answer, there it is. And that's it for the lesson on simplifying ratios.